go. No sword from the uncle today. And this seat is bootless until boots, which could be right here. Nope. Sorry, I had to go for it.
Yep. You do get a full heart, though. Early in the game, when you have the prospect of Dark World looming over your heads, you're not going to turn your nose up at health. So we know Uncle doesn't have the sword, because if he did, he'd walk out of the house with it. Let's see what he actually has today.
It's bomb start.
Yep, so on the one hand, our runners are going to have to finagle their way through the enemies with the bombs, though at this stage of the tournament, I'm sure... Oh, I take it back. If our runners feel like it, they can hold on to those bombs and do some sword strats, some NMG strats here and escape.
So basically all the uncle did was basically make it where you don't have to farm squat.
Yeah, that's a great find. That's a great way to make it through escape. French vanilla sword.
I mean, no, best start includes mirror and boots.
Yeah, mirror, boots. Bow is a great weapon to find. It does a lot of damage, but it's also progression because it lets you handle Eastern Palace.
I have similar feelings about the fire rod.
Yep. So we found another full heart container, so we're already up to 5 hearts.
Yep, sure did. So we know that one of these two or the next chest is going to be a small key, and at some point along the way we're going to find a map, but...
Or perhaps we won't find the map and they will know that they can leave that chest when they get to Sanctuary.
There is that possibility. You do have to, actually pay attention to that sort of thing. And that is a blue potion.
That's a nice find. A lot of runners will want to carry a blue potion with them into the endgame, but it also serves as progression because when we get to Kakariko, we'll be able to check the sick kid right away.
Mm-hmm. We're going to have a pot and slash strat from both of our runners here.
And we did find the map in Zelda's cell, so we're going to be looking for one key, and then the rest of the chests on the way out will have items in them.
And that one key will in fact be in the very next chest. There's no other place for it to be.
Yep.
So the contents of the bottles are not factored into the logic at all. The bottles themselves are factored in for Sick Kid, of course, and if you need to access Spike Cave and all you have is the cape.
Yeah, the bottle or the half magic counts as a magic extend, which lets you use the cape in Spike Cave. A lot of times, commentators will mention that half magic is nice, but it's not required. But that is one of the implications in the logic of half magic, that it lets you use the cape in Spike Cave.
You know what I think would be a very interesting opening Uncle weapon instead? Is if instead they gave you a bottle with a bee in it and the bug net.
Yeah, I've seen that mentioned. That would be entertaining. We have a lot of big bee fans in the community. Vtorp is very fond of his bees.
There is, of course, our small key for Smight.
Smight takes out the final boss of Escape, the Key Rat. Not so difficult when you've got a sword.
So we finally got our first money.
Yeah, lots of health, but still a relatively poor seed. We still got some places to check before we have to, say, pay for the bottle vendor.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, you really only need to pick up another like 30 rupees before you can pay for the bottle vendor. You can get 50 clearing out the well and Blind's Hut pretty easily.
Yeah, almost always you won't have to worry about the bottle vendor money. Sometimes the seed does troll you with the money. You don't often think of Randomizer having a money troll, but it does happen.
Alright, so Smight is electing not to go to the Lumberjack, and so is Walther.
Yep, a lot of runners will put off that check until they have the boots, since you can't get the Lumberjack item until you have the boots anyway.
Oh ho! There's a moon pearl lying on the ground.
Who left that sitting there? That's too important. That is one piece of our Dark World puzzle. Definitely a required item.
Oh, and Walther just took the rupee lead.
Yeah. I don't know, 21 to 20 rupees. That seems insurmountable to me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, Smight now has the advantage on arrows. So our runners will be heading into Kakariko with a nice fat stack of bombs. No need to purchase bombs today.
And there's our map check. I believe I saw a blue pendant up at Tower of Hera, and I saw a 5/6 crystal down at Desert, and I think just a normal crystal at Eastern.
That is what I saw as well. So either we're both right or we're both wrong.
And we did also see 300 rupees in this first chest in Blind's Hut. Also the powder in the back, so now we're in business.
Absolutely.
And a fairy bottle.
Yep, powder is a great item. We don't yet have the means to check the progression that the powder affords, which is the magic bat, but it's a tremendous safety item. Nobody's going to be too upset when they find that.
Alright, so Kakariko well, 5 more items, more bombs. Those are vanilla, if I'm not mistaken. A half magic. Well, that is certainly something you want to see.
Yep.
Another 100 rupees and more bombs. So, basically just a little bit more convenience over here, but certainly nothing you're going to argue with. Now it's time to go see what the vendor has on sale. It is a big 20.
Yep. Yeah, already a very safe-looking seed. 6 hearts, half magic, powder.
Book. Book in the chicken hut. You know, if I'd have gotten the book literally any earlier, I might have been tempted to check the pedestal right now. But I've already started going south.
Yep. Smight, of course, remembering. We've gotten 2 bottles by this point, so... Sick kid with just a little bit of cash, giving us his allowance. So, Smight will be continuing on the traditional opening of this game, checking the library, checking the race game. That was the blue mail sitting on the library shelf. So the game continues showing us safety items. That one we can't get. We don't know where those boots might be yet.
There's the Cane of Brian sitting there on the race game. And Smight is actually going to leave it.
Interesting. That cane is the only invincibility item we've seen thus far, so we've been chatting about Spike Cave. That cane might be the logical ticket into Spike Cave.
And it looks like Walther is going to go ahead and pick that up. I think Smight might be thinking maybe I can combine that with digging game once I reach the Dark World.
Yep, if we have the mirror by the time we get to the digging game, that would be a slightly quicker check at that time.
There's a piece of heart in the dam. So one thing I like to do when I have the book is actually go to Mini Moldorm first, and then go to Dam, and then head to Desert.
Yeah, you get a little bit less backtracking that way. You zag diagonally down to Mini Moldorm. We got a soggy Bombos medallion outside the dam. I mentioned a little earlier that last seed, the Fire Rod, was in Pendant Ice Palace, so you had to get in with that Bombos medallion.
Alright, so Mini Moldorm Cave now. Plenty of items in here. Red Boomerang, big heart. There's those boots we were talking about. Another big heart, and another big heart. Good lord.
Not only a big heart, it is the Sank Heart, one and only. So with the boots, that makes this Ice Rod Cave check a lot more appealing. You can get there a lot faster. That blue mail is accessible now if our runners feel like picking it up. I don't think they're going to make a trip specifically to get that, but if they're in the area.
Five arrows in the Ice Rod Cave.
With the discovery of the boots, Smight could have elected to set up a water walk, but is instead going to go for a fake flipper.
I'm not convinced he didn't. Because there's this whole thing where you combine the fake flipper with the water walk, and you can actually potentially get the item on Zora's ledge if you know what you're doing.
Yep, that is true. I'm not sure if he dashed out of the Ice Rod Cave. That's what you've got to do to set that up. I think he walked right down the middle. And if he walks sideways...
he's not doing that.
Yeah, if he walks sideways to grab these items, he breaks that water walk anyway.
Right. So no problem.
He's not heading up to check what might be on the Zora ledge. He doesn't have the money for Zora yet.
This is actually a pretty neat trick here. He's like, oh, so I'll just do this. That way I get... For one, I don't have to swim as far. I can just walk to Hobo.
Yeah, very interesting play. It sacrifices the Zora ledge. Oh no, there's a blue mail. So we now know where both of our mail upgrades are. And with that, I don't think our runners are going to be all too concerned with the now red mail on the library.
Right. I don't think that'll be I don't think that'll even cross their mind for the rest of the race, to be honest.
There is a saying, sometimes it's said by the uncle, sometimes it's said by members of the community. Red mail is for cowards. I don't particularly agree with that.
Well, I was about to say, I would like to say that, hello, my name is Dr. Boptastic and I'm a coward.
Yeah, if you're a coward, you might as well own it. Sahasrara is keeping the finely crafted artisanal single arrow in the back of his hut. And Smight is going to be heading into Eastern Palace. We still don't have, other than that Moon Pearl, any part of the Dark World puzzle. No gloves at all, no hammer. We don't even have most of the Aghanim care package. We've got a sword, but we don't have a lamp, we don't have a cape.
Alright, so we just see 50 rupees on Zora's Ledge, so nothing to write home about just yet, as Smight heads into Eastern Palace. Now, Walther, on the other hand, he may decide to head toward Desert. Who knows?
Yeah, with an early book, that desert play often pays off.
But nope.
Smight picks up the map here, so still no items seen yet in Eastern Palace. It means that one item is guaranteed to be behind the dark rooms, I believe, and potentially two.
All right, yeah, we are definitely lacking items at this point.
Yep. Smight will check the big chest. This item is in logic, and it's the ether, so no immediate progression, but 2 out of 3 medallions.
In the words of Meatloaf, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
And now Smite's going to be heading through among the easier dark rooms in the game. So whatever Smight finds here is not considered to be in logic. The game doesn't expect you to be doing this without the lamp, but both of these runners, almost all the runners at this stage, I think almost is even a little bit too not enough. I think everybody in the brackets should be able to do this dark room.
And let's see what the big key chest has. Just a big 20.
Alright, so the progression was not in Eastern. Smite's going to head out of here because he does not have the bow, can't finish it up.
So as we might have expected, based on the early book, it does look like desert area is the play.
Yep. Neither of our runners had Zora money, but at this stage, without a glove or flipper, Zora isn't itself in logic. So, desert play pretty much has to be the progression. Walther gets his lightning bolt coin, while Smight heads to Agina. With just 20 bucks in Agina, that means that early book was the pointer. Something we need is in Desert Palace.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering why these guys are so averse to going there.
Well, one of the early divergences...
Oh, hook shot!
That's a nice find, but we don't
still not progression.
Yeah, we don't have Death Mountain access. We don't even have sequence broken Death Mountain access.
Don't worry, we'll get the flute in here.
One of the divergences in last race, as I was going to mention, was Walther made the early desert play and found the bow in desert and the lamp in Agena. And Smight held off on that for a little while, and that put him behind a little bit. Had to do a double dip in pod to get a sword, actually, that was bow locked there.
Oh, Walther's going to bonk rocks.
Oh yeah, that's something that we can do that we forgot. I remembered it earlier, didn't mention it, and then it just out of my head.
Oh, just a piece of heart there.
Yep, desert does have slightly more item density, with 2 items in desert, 1 item at Agena, 1 item on the ledge.
And Walther, it looks like, is also going to go check the lumberjack cave. There's Vanilla Power Glove.
Holy cow, Vanilla Power Gloves. That's definitely part of our progression.
I mean, does that mean lamp right side? Because that'd be hilarious.
The glove by itself doesn't give us anything.
Or lamp on Landmo, I guess.
Well, we can't get to Landmo. We need a fire source for Landmo.
We don't have the fire source, you're right. Dang it.
So this has to be Death Mountain access, right?
Not necessarily. So Zora.
Yeah, that puts... Oh, man. That puts Zora into logic.
It gave us Zora access.
Ugh, and Smight sitting with 501 rupees will not have to farm. Won't be left with much. So Zora's gotta be progression. I guess.
Unless we're missing something.
Yeah, could be the flute or the lamp for Death Mountain access with that hookshot that gives us a ton of chests on the east side. It could also be like the hammer or the Titan's mitts and let us go straight into the Dark World. Or it could be something like shovel. Hammer would be interesting. Well, no, Hammer would give them Dark World directly, but Hammer also would put Magic Bat into play.
To call it Blues Traveler Seed, because it gives them the runaround.
If we didn't have desert access at this point and they saw the ledge, you could say that the hook would bring them back. So Smight now has the Death Mountain sequence break available with those gloves.
And the old man has just a green rupee, but there are plenty more items up here. And if Smight can avoid having to go to Zora, then
that will save some time and a considerable amount of money.
Absolutely. I mean, there is always the chance that that one item that Zora has is the hammer.
Yep. That hammer would allow Smight to get to Tower of Terror, which is a pendant we don't have lamp. That's not that important. But more importantly, it would give us Dark World access.
Right. And that's why it can be the hammer, because that would still be progression and logic. So Walther did check the lumberjack cave. It was just a piece of heart. We got a mushroom and a +5 air bomb upgrade.
That's a sequence-broken fetch quest, and an interesting one at that, because some runners will opt to hold on to that until they get... Well, we don't have to worry about fake powder this season. We've got real powder.
You ever seen real fake powder?
Well,
fake powder?
Yeah, it can be done. If you're out of magic and you really want to use the powder, it'll work, right?
Yep. So we got a blue boomerang, a blue rupee, 50 rupees, 10 arrows, and a big heart. That's still nothing doing here on Death Mountain.
Yeah. Fails the bomb jump there. Well, Walther is going to do this fake flipper here to head to the region near the witch's hut. Could be a play towards Zora. Walther also with just barely enough money to pay off the fish. Ooh.
Ooh. Ice rod on the floating island.
Yep. It is nice to know where that thing is, because it can be pretty much anywhere.
So that means unless both Swamp and Turtle Rock are pendants, we require the Mirror this seed.
Yep.
Bug net in Spiral Cave, and so it looks like the sequence break up Death Mountain did not pay off.
Nope, not. The only thing Smight has now, two things. He's got that save and quit point to the old man, so he won't have to make a long climb up Death Mountain again. And he also has that mushroom, which, you know, that's hanging out there.
So that says to me that this basically has to be the hammer or maybe the Titan's myths.
Yeah, let's see.
It's the hammer.
There's the progression on Zora. Smite's going to be able to turn in the mushroom on the way to that hammer. That's potentially the only benefit, other than the save point, that the Death Mountain gives the witch a little sprinkle of powder. Isn't it the woman outside the chicken hut in Kakariko who actually turns into a cuckoo if you sprinkle her?
Maybe? I know there's a cuckoo that turns into a woman if you sprinkle it.
Oh, is that how it goes? Okay.
Alright, so our pendants today are Skull Woods as green and Misery Mire as red. Our remaining 5/6 crystal turns out to be Palace of Darkness.
Yep. So that ice rod's definitely going to be required. That mirror is definitely going to be required. Walther in the hype cave is getting not so much hype.
And we're going to go ahead and head to the west here. Go check out Stumpsman and Digging Game. He is going to want to get 7 more rupees.
Yep.
There's one.
Gets another full heart. We're up at 12 hearts shy of 30 minutes. And blue mail. And half magic. Continues to be a very safe seed.
And Walther finds out, yep, gotta pay for the game.
Yeah, it's a little rough that he loses it, but he's going to be heading into the Dark World here near Village of Outcasts, and we'll be able to jump down and check that. So, just a little bit of a time loss making the walk without the money.
So Smight will be able to see what is in the digging game.
Walther is going to give us an interesting little check before he heads into the Dark World.
Oh my. You see green goo in a bottle?
Alright. Ped's dead.
Yep, not going to be required today. "29 digs I counted for that big 20.
29 digs. So if Walther ends up making that check, and I can't imagine he won't when he finishes with Village of Outcasts, he'll spend a significant amount of time and those $80 to get just 20 in return. Walther is in Green Pendant Skullwoods now. Will not be able to finish it without the fire rod.
We do find a small key on the left side, so we won't have to worry about going into the pinball room.
Yeah, nobody wants to go to the pinball room, the room with the bumpers and the Gibdos. The only consolation is when you get that one Gibdo that just keeps bouncing over and over and over again.
Alright,
Smight,
there's one item.
Yep, and Smight, remembering that before he heads into the Dark World, he can make this magic bat check. The powder was way early, I believe.
That was one thing that I was going to mention as Walther went to the Dark World. Just 10 arrows, though.
Yep. So, Walther is here in the... It's a challenging room here, but Walther knows that those are some interesting enemies in that the boomerang stuns them, but the hookshot does not.
It's a very strange combination, but you get what you get. And we get the big key out of the big key chest. Walther trying to get grabbed there, and
just barely misses the elevator. Someone was slamming on that door close button before he could get on. Smight is also giving us a check with the book.
So both runners now aware that the pendants, other than the green one, are definitely not required.
Yep.
And a small key in that big chest means the item's in the back.
Yep.
Walther is going to give us a bumper cave check.
Yep, that cape has not been seen, but information is... It's vanilla today. Just a piece of heart on the bumper cave. Information is king in this game.
Alright. There is 10 arrows in the Sea House. A few more locations outside of Thieves Town, and then there's Thieves Town proper, which Walther may go to first.
Yep. 4 items in Thieves Town. Here in the front, one of them is going to be the big key, guaranteed. And there it is. We had Vanilla Power Glove. The vanilla location for the Titan's Mitts is in this dungeon, so maybe that will continue.
Be kind of ridiculous, though.
Kinda ridiculous. Randomizer is never ridiculous. Randomizer is always completely sensible and never ever makes you want to tear your hair out.
So everybody get ready to say hi to Swag Duck here in a minute.
The only thing that would make that flute even nicer is if Walther finds a mirror in here and can mirror straight out, turn on the flute, right where he stands.
Yep. Of course, if we find those vanilla Titan's Mitts like you were talking about, we can also use that to go to the mire area, if we so desire. Now that's another pendant dungeon, so maybe you don't want to, but who knows.
Walther put in that cane that he spent the time at the race game to pick up. Ugh. Tons of lag, though.
It's like, I was gonna say good use, and then I was like, well...
With the boots, the common strategy in that room is to try and line up on the so-called God pixel. You dash straight out of the door, and you'll hopefully line up with the exact middle of the room and can dash straight up if the enemies agree with you.
And we've got just the compass in the attic chest. So our one shot at actual vanilla Titan's Mitts is if the small key is in its actual vanilla location as well.
Yep. The Cane of Burnham might pay off in the blind fight if Walther's health remains low. The Cane of Burn is a great weapon for that fight.
$300, so that means the small key is locked in the big chest, and we're still missing one item here in Thieves Town.
Yep, and Walther showing off a great little piece of knowledge there that there's a bunny beam under that top left pot in those cells. So you powder the pot, the fairy pops right out for you.
Yep, no need to actually say hi to the bunny beam. Alright, so Walther entering the blind fight with a sword and halfway full, half magic. So I imagine emergency Brian strats could be employed, but not necessarily.
Yep. He's a little bit off script now, but has a bunch of health, has the blue mail. And I believe the 2 bottles we found have been a fairy and a blue goo, so lots of safety.
And a piece of heart, and so that does it for Thieves Town.
Yes, Walther getting the first crystal of the seed at just around 39 minutes.
Yeah, two more items here in Village of Outcasts.
Yep, I always myself like to get them before I go in, because if I go into Thieves Town, it just blanks my brain, and I always forget to come back for these.
Ooh, Master Sword.
Not an item that you want to forget today.
Yeah. Also would have been somewhat useful in Thieves Town, but
yep,
you know,
useful
doesn't actually improve the boss fight.
Absolutely, useful on the enemies, but blind takes the same amount of damage from everything that happens to hit him.
In the brewery today with the Titan's Mitts. There we go.
So, Titan's Mitts in their vanilla geographical location, if not their vanilla dungeon. Walter can't decide what to do now that he has those mitts. But I think this is the right call. He's going to do the digging game, and then he may grab the frog for the world tour. Without the mirror, he'll have to save and quit to get the frog back to the light world. So while Smight finishes up Thieves Town and Walter does his digging game, there's an interesting logical implication of having the small key locked in the big chest in Thieves Town. Doesn't really matter in this seed, but it means that logically Blind is locked behind the hammer.
That is true.
It's one of those weird instances where you can technically sequence break the game without even realizing it.
So, if and when Walther finally gets back up to Death Mountain, which, by the way, he has access now logically because of that flute. But when that happens, he can check a spot that Smight could not at the time. I mean, other than having those Titan's mitts, but even before having the Titan's mitts, he had Walther had access to Spike Cave because he picked up the Cane of Brian.
Yeah.
Another 300 rupees in the Peg Cave. I mean, I'd take them.
Yeah. We have the flute, so if our runners feel like filling up their bottles, having some spending money for potions is not bad. Not really the most pressing thing with the health and the mail that we have, but if you're going to be heading into Ice Palace, having a ton of extra magic won't be nobody will complain about that.
And Walther gets ready to activate his flute, so we'll get ready to say hi to everybody's favorite swag duck. Smight also going to go down and pick up that blacksmith. And so we're basically back in lockstep here.
Yep. With the only exception, really, that Smight has made the climb up Death Mountain and has cleared what he could from the east side of Lightworld Death Mountain. But Walter won't have to make that climb because he's got the flute.
And Walther will also be able to get that magic bat taken care of while he's here. That was something that Smight did a little while ago.
Yep. So just by virtue of the routing, the places that Walter has left behind have actually helped out his routing. He didn't go up Death Mountain, but now he has the flute, so he doesn't have to make that climb. He can combo the smiths and the magic bat. So just a little bit of routing that's happened to come out in Walter's favor here.
Alright, so where's Smight gonna head now? Oh, I guess he didn't activate the flute yet. There we go.
The bird is unheard.
And Walther is heading off to Meyer area. This is an interesting check.
Yep, he'll get a medallion check on Meyer. We have a 2/3 chance of having it already. And he will get 2 items here in the Meyer shed.
We have bombos for Meyer. It looks like Smight may be going ahead to do the purple chest.
Yep. Meyer shed does not pay off. And Walter's not about to head into Pendant Meyer at this stage of the game.
Yeah, no thanks. Alright, looks like Walter's now going to head up to Death Mountain. So he's going to be retracing some of Smite's steps here. But he is going to get the privilege of checking out Pendant Hera.
Yep.
The privilege in heavy air quotes.
Many runners will check Pendant Hera. It's not too much of a time investment. He will want to be in the area, though, because he also has the ability to check the Ether Tablet.
Ah, yes. There's also Spike Cave, which is right next door.
Yep.
But I imagine Spike Cave will likely come sort of at the end of the dark side check.
Yeah. Without the mirror...
Walther getting dead rocks.
Yeah. Without the mirror, it's... Oh, good. He avoids the dead rock. Without the mirror, you can't hop back and forth between the worlds when you're doing your Dark Death Mountain. Well, at least D words. Dark Death Mountain check. So you coordinate your light side checks and your dark side checks.
And Smight will also check the Mire Shed, also be disappointed. And we'll see if he decides to dive Pendant Mire. I very much doubt that. One thing you might do right now if you're Walther is check Spike Cave right now.
Yeah, because you can then save and quit to the old man. But that's not what he's opting to do. Spike Cave is one of those, like, terminal locations. You almost always save and quit out of there rather than walking out. There's a few places like that, like heading to Zora, heading to Agena Cave sometime. But Smite's going to give us a check.
A few places. Yeah, there we go. King's Tomb. Oh, Tempered Sword over at King's Tomb.
Nice pickup for Smite, Tempered Sword.
Whoa. Whoa. Is Smight doing a pod check here?
Could very well be. He has a potion, so he can pull off the potion glitch to get to the Bowlock side.
Yeah, but I mean, you're gonna need the bow to complete the dungeon either way, so... This is kind of a huge gamble. I mean, the bow could be in there. It's not outside the realm of possibility.
Absolutely. If you're taking the logic into account, we're still waiting on the lamp, which locks some of the items, but I don't think we're going to have any difficulty with the dark rooms here in Pod. The turtle room is kind of nasty if Smite ends up finding the bow and gets that far.
Oh yeah, I bet Smite is looking for that mirror so he can get the ice rod while he's up here too.
Yep. This is the vanilla geographical location for the mirror. Normally the old man will give it to you in the vanilla game.
Alright, small key in the first chest of Pod, so it's not immediately bow-locked.
Yep, well, Walter just got a full heart from the Ether Tablet, and he is going to be heading into Pendant Tower of Hera.
Although this dungeon has the same number of items as Mire, it's not nearly as much of a pain to clear out as Mire.
But with a compass in that location, we have a potential firelock if the big key is not in the next chest. Yep.
Rip.
We are out of here. Pod hasn't been paying off with items just yet, just as per usual, a bunch of small keys.
Yeah, I believe there was one of those chests that was not a small key, but I don't think it was anything we were terribly interested in. Alright, so Walther is now going to go ahead and take care of Dark Death Mountain.
Yep, he'll be able to do everything on Dark Death Mountain with the exception of getting that ice rod, unless the mirror turns up.
He's going to go ahead and go to the top of Turtle Rock And this makes sense because without the mirror, you'd want the chance to open it.
Yep.
If you could.
Yep. Yeah. Walther has a 2/3 chance of being able to open Turtle Rock, but at present a 0% chance of actually doing anything inside of it. Well...
Oh, Quake!
So we often see the Turtle Rock Medallion sitting underneath the doormat here in Super Bunny Cave or Hookshot Cave. But the nasty thing will be that if Walther finds it, he won't be able to open Turtle Rock very easily without the mirror to get back to the light world.
Apparently Quake was in pod while we were distracted by Walther.
Alright, so the dip into pod will allow Smight to open up Turtle Rock when he gets into Death Mountain. But Turtle Rock's still completely off limits to us without the Cane of Samaria.
Shovel. Alright, I imagine Walther's gonna head over to Spike Cave.
Yep. He invested the time at the race game into the Cane of Burna, so he might as well. Well, Smight is giving us some more fake flippers. Is
this gonna be a Ice Palace dip?
It could very well be an Ice Palace dip. I can't imagine what else there is to do.
Is he going for the Fire Rod and Ice Palace gambit?
That's, you know, he was to coin a phrase, burned by it last seed.
Big 20 in Spike Cave.
Yep, so that Cane of Burna that Walther took the time to pick up at the race game and Smight skipped out, not required for Spike Cave. The game does treat Laser Bridge as requiring either the Mirror Shield or an invincibility item, so logically that might be why the Cane of Burna was hanging around.
But now it's time to go digging, and what is Walther gonna find underneath the ground? Womp womp.
Yep. Tried to switch to the flute while the shovel was out, hence the womp womp sound effect that the game itself provided for us. It is interesting. Chat's pointing out, I would point it out myself, that Smight is making this Ice Palace play. We must find the flippers to complete this seed, with Swamp Palace being a crystal.
I am having a hard time thinking of what's left.
Yeah, we can get into Pendant Misery Mire.
Yeah, that might be it.
Yeah.
Because we know it's not in pod.
Yeah, and we still have quite a few items left. We need a bow, we need a fire rod, we need a mirror, we need the flippers.
Pyramid or catfish yet either. I think that's what Walther might be doing here.
Yep. We got pyramid, we got catfish. Yep, they've done all of Eastern Palace that's accessible to them without the bow.
And bombs on the pyramid. So we're gonna go see catfish, or we go into pod?
Gonna see catfish.
Lumberjack was a piece of heart. Smight finds the big key.
And the catfish
in
today.
The catfish play. It's the Cane of Samaria.
Wow. So, if you're thinking Pendant Mire, well, we still logically don't have access to Vitreous because of the absence of the lamp.
I mean, the lamp's probably in there at this point.
Yeah.
That being said, that also gives us access to, like, the first chest in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, the one chest in the beginning of Turtle Rock, which may have a key and let us go deeper.
No, I think Quake was on the ledge in the light.
Has anything good come out of Ice Palace?
Not that I've seen.
Yeah, I have to assume Smight knows how to count his items, so the fact that we're facing Cold Stare now means that we're done with items here.
It's not big key on Cold Stare. First of all, that can't happen. Second of all, I saw him get it.
Yeah, the game does not expect you to do the bomb jump, and if you don't do the bomb jump, you need that big key to get here. It's a small key on Cold Stare, which means that logically the game expects you to have the Cane of Samaria to do this dungeon.
That is true. So Smight now might have this sneaking suspicion in the back of his head that he needs to find the Cane of Samaria.
Yep. There's the Quake. So the Quake is not lamp locked.
Alright, so Smight is now going to the Dark World, going to Dark Death Mountain. He'll be able to open up Turtle Rock, but he won't be able to go inside.
Nope. Not unless he can pull off a really monstrous hover.
Yeah, just, you know, several hundred frame perfect inputs in a row. Who cares?
I think TGH pulled it off in a race once.
Yeah, but TGH is not a human being, so we're okay with this. I mean, what?
Yeah. We're a very accepting community. We allow robots to enter our tournaments. People like TGH and ACMLM.
Nah, they're not actually robots, but they're just very skilled. Alright, so that is a shield for Walther, and he knows that the rest of this place is bow locked, so he's out.
Smight is going to learn about the Firelock here in Tower of Hera real soon. That ice rod continuing to mock our runners as they walk by it. Our runners are going to be heading into the Dark World at the Turtle Rock portal just about the same time.
Yeah, the main difference here is that Walther can go inside and check that first chest.
Yep. That chest needs to be a small key, otherwise we have to head right back out.
Or a fire rod.
Or a fire rod, or, yeah. Yeah.
Or flippers. I mean, you know, progression.
A small key, a small key or a fire rod would let us continue in Turtle Rock, and anything else that's progression would send us out. Or not progression would send us out.
That's a small key. We're still going.
Yeah.
So there is a very specific key arrangement that gets you to Laser Bridge. Without the fire rod. It's very specific.
Yes. The game will assume that you do the silliest possible things with your keys and whatnot, so... Yep, we're gonna need a
key here.
Yeah, we're gonna need another small key here to have any chance of going further.
And then vanilla big key.
Nope.
Nope. Okay, we're done here. Looks like Meyer is the play.
Yeah, so 20 minutes ago when I mentioned Walther not wanting to go into Pendant Meyer, would have been on the table. There is a portion of Meyer that's 2 items that are locked behind creating fire, as well as the boss is locked behind the lamp, logically at least.
Oh, Walther is going to go ahead and do the purple chest, it looks like. If he went to King's Tomb, just throwing that out there. Smight is going through Spike Cave without that Cane of Brian, making use of his fairy.
Yep. He has a bunch of health. We're already up to 16 hearts on Smite's side. That is more health than you often see in a rando seed. The game does not treat possession of a fairy as logically required for... It's logically acceptable for Spike Cave, though fairies give you a bunch of iframes. So if you have a fairy, you can very frequently make your way through with just your life and your fairy.
It would be an interesting thing to add to the progression for the Spike Cave if it was like two bottles and a bug net.
Yeah.
Because that way one bug net could be in the progression logic somehow.
Yep.
And I'd be happy about it.
So Walther's come to realize what we have pretty much concluded ourselves, which is Pendant Meyer is the play.
And Smight is right behind him. This is a race.
Yep. If the progression happens to be on Vitreous, that'll be real bad for Smight, because that Cane of Samaria is all the way on the other side of the world at the Catfish.
I mean, the only way that happens, though, is if, like, the lamp is also in here.
Yep.
All right, first chest in Misery Mire coming up for Walther. What do we got? Small key, as you might expect. There are way too many small keys in Misery Mire.
If I recall correctly, like, the key sanity logic for Misery Mire doesn't really care about the small keys all that much anyway.
Yeah, the only place it cares about it is in the Firelock side. And so the key logic for Mire is you either need none of them or you need all of them.
Because if you get some of them, then you can waste them, and then it'll expect you to have all of them.
Well, it's just that the two chests on the side here on the left, they require the small keys, and everything else does not.
Okay.
And that's also why if you find a small key on the left, you know that the big key is also over there.
Yes. This is a room you don't see too often on Smite's side. Oh!
Fire Rod!
Fire Rod and Misery Mire. That's our progression. It will let us now check the Firelock side of Mire.
Also the Firelock side of Turtle Rock.
Yep. Turtle Rock.
Also all of Hera.
Hera, yeah, that opens up a ton of stuff. Smite making the call to dip out of Misery Mire immediately upon finding the Fire Rod, while Walther is going to check this, which is the big key.
I mean, this makes sense for Smight because Smight does not have the Cane of Sumaria.
Yep.
Oh, Smite's going to go finish off Landmo, it looks like.
Yeah, that can be done now. When you're without a fire source for so long, it's just all these locations you have to leave behind. Desert, Hera, Turtle Rock, things like that. And Walther makes the exact same call. Desert is one of our Pyramid Fairy crystals, and we already have... No, the other one is in Pod, so we can't get
Gonna need that bow
until we have the bow, exactly.
Smight will need to hit up Catfish before he can get back in this. Alright, so Smite starting the Landmo fight.
I believe you mean Smite finishing the Landmo fight. That was beautiful.
Ooh, silver arrows, that's certainly something you'd like to have.
Yep.
Especially if you're Walther and you're still sitting on Master Sword.
Absolutely. Still, of course, waiting on that bow. Wow, just two perfect one-cycle Landmo fights there.
Yeah, those might have actually been, like, frame for frame the same.
Yeah, it was real close.
I'm gonna have to run them back, but I think that was very close.
Yep. Smight is going to be finishing off Skull Woods, it looks like, with that fire rod. We know there's one item. We know there's one item locked in the back, but in addition, we'll get the green pendant from Mothula, which could be something.
Gonna do King's Tomb?
Yeah, this has to be King's Tomb, I imagine. So Walter's going to even up the sword disparity here.
So if I'm Walther right now, I have to feel like I need to go to Turtle Rock again and finish that.
Yeah.
Or at least continue.
Yep.
But again, I'd like to find the mirror so I could get that ice rod.
Yeah. But of course, the game could very well want you to go into Turtle Rock and get, like, Laser Bridge Mirror or something disgusting like that.
I believe that is the proper term for it, yes. Just a burrito in the chest in the back of Skullwoods, which means Moth has the item.
Yep, and with the absence of that mirror, Smight has to take the long walk back. This is not the ideal setup for a Death Warp with 16 hearts and blue mail.
Yeah, Walther also knows where the mirror is on the floating island there.
The ice rod, yes.
Yeah, the ice rod, excuse me. They both saw it.
They've seen it many times. They've walked back and forth that screen quite a bit. Taunting them, sitting there. Come get me. Go get the mirror. You know it's on Laser Bridge. Go get the mirror.
Alright, so we head back into Turtle Rock. We know that the right side here will have at least one small key, but the other chest could be anything.
Smight is now up here on Death Mountain. Is he going to head into Turtle Rock?
I think he's going to Hera.
Ah.
He doesn't have the cane, so he can't.
That's right, he's not going to be heading into Turtle Rock. Or it would be a severe lapse of judgment if he went into Turtle Rock. Which gives you some insight into my skill at this game, and that's the thing I'm thinking of. I'm seeing in chat that Smight didn't actually pick up the green pendant after the Mothula kill.
Really?
That, I have to imagine, is a mistake. He must have mirrored out immediately and...
Well, he didn't mirror. He must have saved and quit.
Oh. Maybe he marked the wrong color of the pendant, didn't realize it was the green one?
Pedestal is a bottle with green potion in it.
Smight is taking his coffee break.
There's an additional bottle in the vanilla big key chest of Turtle Rock. That is actually the first item we found here in Turtle Rock.
So we're setting up for a stacked laser bridge. We got someone in chat saying that Smight marked the wrong color pendant for Skull Woods. So Smight did not realize that would be the green pendant falling down from the sky and saved and quit.
That is unfortunate, especially if it turns out to be the mirror on Sahasrahla.
Yeah.
Or the bow.
Yeah, and considering how few locations we have, there's a tremendous chance that it'll be on Laser Bridge upcoming, because we've got 4 more items left in Turtle Rock. But Smite's going to be climbing Tower of Hera.
Alright, small key in the big chest. There's one more small key left. There is the map left. And that is what is... And the rest of the locations here in Turtle Rock are items. That's a big 20.
Yep. So we're gonna see Walter take a ride through the dark here. This dark room is not so bad if you can stay on track, but if you get off track, it's a nightmare. But it looks like Walter has it.
I'm not convinced that he does.
I spoke too soon. Oh,
there we
no.
go.
There we are.
So what did Smight find in Hera? Because I noticed he saved and quit halfway through.
Yeah, it seems to be empty.
We've got bombs, big 20, the small key, and the map. That's it for Turtle Rock.
There's no mirror here. There's no nothing.
How?
Oh boy, that's really bad for Smight, because that really improves the chances that there's something on that green pendant. But Smite's going to pick up his Cane of Samaria here.
Might be going for Skull Woods now.
Yeah, so I wonder which medallion Smight actually has marked down as green. Let me go and check his stream.
Yeah, Meyer still has one item. That is true.
Smight seems to have Meyer marked as his green pendant.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, because he's going to get the cane here, and that might send him straight to Vitreous through the dark room, and the pendant will fall down, and he will get that nasty sinking feeling in his stomach.
Either that, or he may end up going to Turtle Rock, clearing that out, and getting a whole lot of diddly.
Yeah. Either way, Smight is in for some disappointment.
And Walther is going to go fight Moth first.
Yep, so Walter will not have to head down to that bridge chest. We'll get the second item off of Moth. And will, I hope, actually pick up the green pendant.
Alright, so go with me on this journey. You ready?
I'm ready.
So, Lamp... No, Bow on Sahasrara. Lamp on the right side of Pod. Mirror on Helmasaur. Or in Pyramid Fairy.
That is definitely a journey.
That's not really a journey so much as what I think is the most likely possibility.
Yeah. Ugh. So, I imagine we're going to see that green pendant turned in right away. Considering there's really nothing else to do. Here's the green pendant turn-in.
300 rupees.
No. Interesting.
What sort of world are we living in now?
So, if you're on Team Smight, that's good news for you. That's really good news for you. But then it, you know, I'm just gonna stumble around trying to figure out how this works, because both of our runners skipped the cutscene chest in Misery Mire.
Yeah, there's still one more item left in Mire. And it could be on the cutscene chest, or it could be in the big chest.
Yes.
Where in the world is Walther going?
I don't know. Did he... He didn't do Tower of Hera once he got fire.
You're right, he hasn't done Hera. I was confused.
Yeah. I, too, am confused. This is a confusing seed.
Vitreous can't really have anything until we find the lamp.
I thought he was going to dash back to the ether tablet. What does the bottle vendor say? Dude, you already have it?
Yeah, something like that. So, I see somebody asking about Bombos. We can't do Bombos without the mirror.
Yeah, there's quite a few overworld locations that are locked by mirror. What a seed.
Spike Cave was a big 20.
Walther looks like setting up for a death warp. I think Walther might still have his fairy.
Yeah, me too.
When I'm running my own races, I usually keep written track of what's in my bottles to avoid the death warp fairy. Which you might see here if he still has it. Ugh.
Womp womp.
Both of our runners have already checked King's Tomb. It was a sword.
So, let's see. What's the opposite of paying respects? Is it charging respects?
Yeah, it depends on which word you want to take the opposite of. If you're trying to take the opposite of paying, charging makes sense. You could just say something like paying disrespects. Extracting respects.
You know what? I just realized I think the term to diss might have come from disrespect, and I'm a dumb.
You know, we can be dumbs together, Dr. Bob, because that makes a lot of sense. You and me, we can be on the team of dumbs and cowards.
I mean, it just never occurred to me because there's an extra S in dis.
Yeah, it's a very effective form of camouflage, that extra S. So Walther is gonna dive all the way back into Mire to head to that nasty cutscene room. Yeah, if the big chest is still out there, then that's probably the check you want to make first.
Yeah, I mean, it's right here. You just go right. There's the mirror. Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I mean, still no actual progress in the dungeons.
Yeah, is it
other than getting the ice rod to kill Trinex.
Yeah, do we know if Trinex has an item? I wasn't
thinking.
He does. Okay. But the way this seed's been going, it's not going to be nothing. You're going to have to... That mirror gives us so many overworld locations to check. The cave south of the grove, the graveyard ledge, the Bombos tablet. Ew.
This seed is not messing around.
Yeah. If anything, you'd hope
it does not give you access to Swamp Palace because we still need the flippers.
That's right. I was like, what do we still need? And then the flippers are. Oh boy.
So we still need flippers and bow, and logically lamp. Where the heck is the lamp?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I actually believe it's unlikely that Trinex holds our progression just because of that lamp situation.
Yeah, with the lamp being missing, Trinex is out of logic. It's on the other side of a dark room. We have Mimic Cave.
Ah, yeah, Mimic Cave is in logic. I did not consider that.
And Mimic Cave is before the dark, so you can get the lamp there.
Oh, Smight going to the left side first. Oh, yeah, because he noped out before getting the big key.
Yep.
Last time.
All right. We have the ice rod. We can clear Turtle Rock. Walter is going for his third crystal, and he'll get it in about an hour and a half. A little later, probably. And the only reason Smight has his third crystal already is because he sequence broke to Ice Palace. Smight only has 2 crystals in logic. Smight gets the mirror. Smight is doing something that Walter didn't do, which is grab that mirror and checking. You got nope. Yeah, you got to go around, Smight. Heading to Checkerboard Cave, which is right here. This could be something that puts Smight in it.
Yeah, if we find flippers or bow or lamp over here.
It's the lamp! Which...
Wow. So, let's be fair. Doesn't actually help.
No, it's not progression. Our runners are not going to need that to do the dark rooms.
And that actually does make it a little more likely that Walther will find some progression here in Turtle Rock.
Yep.
Walther, what are you doing? There you go.
There's the flippers.
Oh, the flippers in Mimic Cave.
Ugh, boy. Smight is gonna do some of these overworld locations. Smight might be checking the lumberjacks. You've got to be feeling really desperate when you're like, wait, it might be Aghanim and I'm 90 minutes into the seed. It is not Aghanim.
Alright, so Walther once again going to navigate the dark maze of Turtle Rock. Getting a little off course here, but should be able to find his way to the switch. There we go. No, never mind.
Now, if Smight can pull the bow on one of these overworld checks, that'll be nice for him. But he's still going to be doing full clearing till he gets those flippers in Mimic Cave.
₹300 in Graveyard Ledge. And Walther appears to be very turned around.
Yeah, that's a bit rough to see. He gets back to the beginning, so hopefully he can reset his bearings.
Alright, yeah, this should be around the backside. If you just hold left from here, you should be good.
Yep, there we go.
There we go. Alright, time to employ some of that powder, I think.
Yep.
And the cape.
That's another thing that gives us precisely nothing.
So at this point, I'm actually expecting the bow to be in Swamp.
Yep, 6 items in Swamp. With a trip into the Dark World here, Smite's probably angling for Bombos Tablet.
All right, Trinix, what do you have for us?
Butter!
Butter!
At this point, not what they want to see. It is the wrong B item.
Of heart at Bombos Tablet, meaning Smight is going to have to go back up to Turtle Rock as well. Now, Walther has the opportunity to attempt, say, Swamp or Ice in Logic right now.
Yep.
It looks like he's going Ice Palace, so Smight will be keeping that effort that he put forth into Ice Palace earlier on.
Yep, Walther will not be go-moding Ice Palace, so the time that Smight expended in it will be matched here.
I mean, I'm not going to be wrong. I tend to be an advocate of the Ice over Swamp play. That being said, in this particular situation, I think it goes the other way, just because of when the flippers were accessible.
Smight on the way to picking up his Ice Rod here, and then into Turtle Rock. Hopefully goes to Mimic Cave. We know that's where the flippers are.
I doubt very seriously he doesn't.
Yep. Yeah, I think chat's right on the money that this race is still way too close to call.
A little bit of issue here with that bomb jump.
Yeah, with the Cane of Samaria, if you're intending to do a full clear, there's no need to do the bomb jump.
Yeah, if you're looking for one item, though, it's sometimes better that way. If you find it along the way, you can audible into the go mode route.
Yep. He pulls it off and is very careful not to fall off after pulling off the bomb jump, which is something I do with a frequency that is greater than it should be. He will have a very nice cold stare fight with the butter sword, the half magic.
Interesting route here.
Smight gets his flippers. Not happy. And Smite's already done those overworld mirror locations, so he's gonna head straight to Swamp after this, I have to imagine. Because, you know, once again, we're in the pretty much nothing else to do situation. He will make up a little bit of time here in the dark room, since Walther had problems both times he came through here.
And I think we might have seen all the items. Yeah, and the fact that Walther is falling down the hole tells me that, yeah, we've seen them.
Yep. So, no need to visit that out-of-the-way iced tea room this seed.
And so it becomes actually pretty nice that he did end up doing the bomb jump there.
Yep.
Nicely done.
Nicely done on both sides.
In the corner.
Two crystals and a butter sword on Smite's side.
And now both of our runners have the same crystals in their possession.
Yep. Each of our runners has one of the invincibility items, but they each have a different one.
Alright, where will Walther be heading next? It's a flute to 4. This looks like it might be a swamp play.
Yeah, oh wow.
We might have some synced swamp.
This is... If they both head into swamp, this will be so close.
Walther might decide to check Bombo's tablet first.
It looks more like swamp to me. Wow.
The swamp is real, ladies and gentlemen.
What sink? I'm gonna need to think of other things to say than just sink, sink, sink. But that's what I want to say, because you don't often see this sort of sink this deep into a Smite. There's a chest. Smite's gambling, I imagine.
That is some bold plays there.
Yeah. It pays off this seed if he doesn't go back for it, but that one's so quick.
I think with that, he might be gambling left side.
Yeah. Either he's gambling left side or he's planning on like leaving left side and checking that if he has to come back in. Yeah, Smite's gonna head straight for the back.
That's interesting. Pretty reasonable, considering you have to do this part anyway.
Yep. Walter gonna give us a slightly more thorough clear of the front portion of Swamp. I have to imagine he's also gonna skip the left. At least for now. But he will be able to check the big chest on the way up. So 2 more item locations that Smite can check in Swamp. Here in the waterfall room and then on Argus. There it is! All right. Wow.
I've seen the bow in that chest way too many times.
Ugh. So that is go mode for Smite. And Walter will get it real soon.
Alright, and we are down to the Execution Fest.
Yep. Smite's going to be grabbing that crystal at 143.38.
The thing is, I think Smite actually found the big key in Pod, and Walther has not, so he's going to have to kind of go out of his way.
So it's about a 45-second distinction between them at this point. And a lot of that was just gambles that Smite made skipping the bomb wall chest and the south chest in Swamp. Yep, people have noticed in chat, I was going to say myself, that Smite will have a tiny advantage in the dark rooms with possessing the lamp. But with the fire rod, Walter will be able to make the hardest dark room, the turtle room, a little bit easier. Smight heading through the bow-locked section to get to the back.
Yeah, he's got to get a small key.
There you go. That's it.
And he knows there's going to be 2 over here. Whereas Walther's got to get a small key and then go looking for the big key.
Yep, Walter on the way to the back to look for that big key.
I don't remember exactly where it was, because Smight was in the dark when he found it.
Yep. So this could have been a much faster seat if our runners had cleared everything they could in Mire when they did it.
Oh good, the mirror shield. Just what you wanted to see.
Yay! So I guess the big key is back here in the dark maze. Well, Smite's gonna mirror over and head to finish out Eastern Palace.
There he is, he's got it.
So Smite's with a slight lead here, but this is still within Ganon's Tower gamble range.
Yeah, it is not a foregone conclusion by any means.
It's a little tricky to get that block in the right place. Those blocks have really weird hitboxes, actually. Like, if you're trying to get the block on the switch in the basement of Misery Mire in the dark, it's kind of tricky.
Alright, so, for those of you who are fans of our program here, you know what's coming. As soon as Smight picks up this 7th crystal, we'll be starting something quite special. So get your guesses ready, because the Ganon's Tower Big Key guessing game is coming up, 1 through 22. Not just yet, but it's going to start very soon.
How about 24? Kern is guessing 24 again. Kern had some luck with 24 this weekend.
That works. Alright, so Smight will now be heading up Ganon's Tower. As soon as he enters Ganon's Tower, we'll be cutting this game off. If you are subscribed to one of the speed gaming channels or have donated 250 bits or more, you can be entered into our leaderboard. Otherwise, feel free to play along. Either way.
And Bob, tell them what they'll win.
Imaginary glory.
Imaginary glory.
It's glory times the square root of -1.
Yeah, rotate your glory 90 degrees and you'll have real glory.
Yeah. Unless you rotate it the other 90 degrees, in which case you'll have negative glory.
I mean, if you look at the leaderboards, I think I fall into the negative glory category.
Seems legit. Alright, so next order of business. Smight will be entering Ganon's Tower shortly. Alright, Smight now entering Ganon's Tower, heading to the right-hand side. That is generally what we see first. 2 chests here. Number 1, Big 20. Number 2, map. No checking right side today.
Nope, not even if we wanted to.
And there is another small key on Bob's torch. That is its vanilla item.
Yep. So the Stalfos room is going to show us chests 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Alright, so that is 3 of the 4 small keys found. A red rupee, and Smight will now head on to chest number 9. The good old fire snake room.
Dr. Bobtastic, we have a question in chat. Why is it called Bob's Torch? I think you're probably the most appropriate person to answer that question.
Well, I mean, it's not named after me, despite what people would tend to say. Bob, the name Bob for the glitched anti-fairy in Ganon's Tower predates my involvement in this game by a long shot. But the glitched anti-fairy occurs when you don't get the item off of the torch. There, you get a sort of glitched anti-fairy in the room before Ice Armos. And we just nicknamed him Bob a long time ago. And nothing in the rando room, so on we go.
I think it glitches out because they had to hack a little bit to get the item sprite to fit there. Because normally, as you mentioned earlier, it'd be the small key, and if you want to put a bigger item sprite there, you have to sort of corrupt the graphics elsewhere in the same super tile.
Right, and both, I believe, the developers found a way to fix that and then decided not to.
Yeah, I think they fixed it, and there was just massive community uproar. Like riots, overturned cars, people love their Bob.
There's the 4th small key in Bob's chest. So basically, Walther's only hope here is that he does the sort of, quote, dark magician strats, and it's on the right-hand side.
Yep. It is on the right-hand side.
Yep. And that being said, given this key layout, that is what I would do. He's just going left.
Yeah, this is interesting.
This could be DM strats.
Absolutely. He's got to feel super behind, so it would not surprise me if that sort of thing happens. Chat has pointed out, Smight has 19 heart containers. Is this... Oh my!
Oh, Walther's doing it. This just became a much, much closer race. And there it is, chest number... What is that? 18?
Yeah, that would be 18. Yeah, because those chests would be 18, 19, 20, and 21, leaving the tile room as 22. So 18's the winner. So Walter's going to make up a ton of time in Ganon's Tower. We'll still be heading up into the Gauntlet a little behind.
And there we go. Walther picks up the big key, begins heading up Ganon's Tower as well, just as Smight enters the Gauntlet.
Yep. Smight with a strong lead here. There are things that can happen to offset that lead. Let us not talk of them for the time being.
You gotta hope that the nerves don't get the best of you here, because that can really throw you off.
Yeah, you're gonna finish a bracket level seed in over 2 hours. You have to feel that something's up. But Smite's pulled off a great gauntlet on the way to Landmo 2. Smight gets a very quick 2-cycle on Landmo 2. And Walter's pulling out the Fire Rod for the Gauntlet. With half magic, that Fire Rod's great, especially on the skeletons. The skeletons don't have the burning animation.
Yeah, it makes the, what is it, the 5th room very nice, because in the 5th room you can just fire a shot from the door and you'll basically always hit that skeleton.
Yep. I believe both runners still have a blue potion. Neither runner used the potion glitch. I think they've both
and I stand corrected.
It's a little mini commentator's curse.
Walther having a little trouble with the 3rd Landmo here. This is going to be a 3-cycle. Oh, what's going on with Smight there? Okay. Got a little stuck.
Yeah, that's
trying to get the powder there.
Yeah, that's the same position you'd get stuck on if in like the Hera basement. If you take your coffee break on like exactly the wrong spot, you'll get stuck. But fortunately, he was stuck right next to the switch.
All right, just 20 rupees in the final chest, and Smight moving on to Aghanim 2, aka Geometry Wizard.
Yep, it is the right time of year for students to be taking their final exams, so we're going to take one in geometry right now. Looked like 2 to me.
I thought it might have just been 1.
Might have just been 1, yeah. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
I think that was 2. And there we go. So 1, 2, 2, 1. As Smight heads down to the Ganon fight. This is Buttersword, Blue Male, Silvers. This is going to be a pretty, pretty academic fight from here. Smight enters the Ganon fight as Walther crosses the gap to the Moldorm 2 chest.
Yep. With 6 slashes and a few for good luck, Smight gets out of Phase 1 and into Phase 2. Where he will also pull off 6
there
slashes.
We go. And that's going to be enough for that. On to Phase 3. Oh, Walther having my kind of luck for Aga too.
Ooh. Yep. Doesn't quite get the double there, or the torch glitch, but the torch glitch will be much less important with the equipment we have. This'll do it!
And there we go. Smight finishing off Ganon. Gonna walk through the door having an official time of 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 6 seconds. Congratulations to Smight.
Yes, GG to
Evening
Smight.
up this race.
Yep, has forced a Game 3 in this matchup.
And we are now joined by the winner of today's race, Smight. Wow. That was a close thing.
I can't believe I even had a chance after what I did.
Okay, so I have to ask a couple things. Number one, I have to ask about your thoughts in Swamp Palace.
I was feeling like the boat was in there, and I always go through it twice. I don't like to leave items behind, even though I did admire. But whoops. So if I'm going through it twice anyway, there's a chance the bow's on the way. So that was really nice. That's like the only thing I felt like I did right.
Yeah, that was a pretty good call. But yeah, both of you guys left the mirror in mire for a while. Walther did find the Cane of Samaria a bit before you, but didn't really hurt you that much, as that led to him full clearing Turtle Rock and not finding a blame thing.
Me too. Oh man, I don't usually leave dungeons like that. I didn't think about that the fire actually unlocked the other chests, because I knew I was done. Like I was telling myself, this is the last chest I can get. I didn't even think about it, and then as I left, I was like, oh no. I hope I don't. I was just playing it like I didn't have to go back in there.
Walther actually found the big key on the left side and then decided to leave after that.
Oh man. I was on my way up again for like the 5th time to get the flippers out of Turtle Rock because I figured they had to be there. And then I was thinking maybe it's on the green pendant, which I don't have.
We observed that you might have messed up your map check or your tracker because the green pendant was on Mothula.
Yeah, I thought it was on Meyer. Yeah. He told me about that. I thought that was the red pendant drop, so I just left. Oh no.
All right.
Never would have figured that out.
So we see Walther finishing with an official time of 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 3 seconds. And Walther has joined us as well. Congratulations on finishing a very, very close race today.
Yeah, so first of all, can we just bury this seed and never dig it up again? Like, hide it in the dig spot and just throw the shovel away.
Seems good.
I'm glad that the uncle didn't say this is a guaranteed sub 2.
Yeah. Well, both of you had left the mirror in mire, and it could very well have been a sub 2 if either of you had picked that up.
Oh
Yeah,
man, that
sure.
felt so bad. Let's see that there.
Yeah.
I pretty much guessed that when I actually found the mirror and started to get the last pieces to go mode, I felt like Smight must have left the mirror as well, because like after that mirror, everything kind of fell in place.
Now, Walther, you were still missing one thing for that actual logical progression there.
Yeah.
It was in Checkerboard Cave.
Yeah, I completely forgot about Checkerboard Cave. We were talking, me and Smight, after we finished, and yeah, I'm glad the bow wasn't there.
Yeah, that would have been quite a deal. Now, so both of you entered Swamp Palace at roughly the same time. Like, there were a couple of seconds separating you. Smight decided he was going to go straight to the back and check only the chests in the back, and then if that didn't work, go back in and check the first couple. So he got to Argus a little quicker. But luckily he had the bow. And then there was that other matter of Smight actually finding the big key when he went into pod the first time.
Did he go to the back instead of checking the big chest?
Yeah, so you checked big key chest in hopes of sort of bow locking yourself out and knowing where the bow was, and Smight went to the back, and that made a pretty big difference there.
Man, Zora having the hammer, I just saw that he had it again. I was like 50 rupees short. I really wanted to go see him, but he wouldn't give me the money.
Yeah, I was really close as well the first time I went up there, because I did a fake flippers.
Yeah, I went
So-
to the guy under the bridge.
Why were you guys so averse to heading over to Desert when you got that book early on?
Well, in our first race, we got the book early as well, and it was an important item there. But I think at the point I went over to Desert, at least, that was more or less the last thing I had left to do in Life Worley and Logic.
Yeah, me too. I don't like going over there without everything to do the dungeon, especially when it's a crystal. Without it just didn't feel right. It cost me the race last time, I think, or it hurt a lot anyway. But I still don't do it. I don't like that dungeon. I saw Hookshot on the ledge, and I was all about getting that though.
Yeah, when we got the vanilla gloves in Desert, I was like, oh no, Sora has to fire swords. I was so close of being able to pay him off.
Yeah, I figured he had the
Because
lamp.
Lamb always had the last item.
Yeah, there were a lot of sequence breaks that both of you tried to do in this run, and none of them paid off. Like the logic, aside from the lamp at the end, basically no sequence break was profitable today.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you saw the other broadcast, the other race, you might not realize how bad I was doing with those bombs. So that's the one thing I did practice, and I've never been so amped up as when I picked up those 10 bombs at the start, and then the next chest is a sword, and I don't even get to do it.
Oh,
You still could have done it if you wanted to. Chat would have
I was-
appreciated the effort.
I was thinking about it. I was restricting myself from wasting all my bombs because I had that down. I was ready. I trained.
But yeah, this was an excellent race to watch, and I had a great time commentating it. I'm sure everybody had a great time watching it. Is there anything else you guys would like to say about this particular seed before we wrap things up here today?
Not really about the seed, but first of all, I know that like after the Swiss, we're not as many runners anymore, but I know that for the restreams, it's been probably like tougher than ever because they want to like restream everything, and there's 2 to 3 matches for every runner. So like big thanks to everyone who's been making that possible, and I'm kind of hyped that we get a match free because Smight is a very good runner, so GG's to him. I definitely respect him. And
GG as well. Looking forward to it.
And I also want to thank Smight for picking 2 earlier times to play as well, because my nephew who's turning 8 this weekend, it made it possible for him to actually catch some of my games. He's a very big Zelda fan.
Nice. So, you guys have your third match scheduled for Sunday, it looks like, at 5 p.m. Eastern, which I think is 11 p.m. your local time, Walther?
Yeah.
So,
I don't have any comments on the seed. I just want to say it feels really bad that Zora's dark skin is not Rudo anymore, and also his death screen. What happened to my skin? Oh man.
I don't even know.
That's too bad. He's ruined. He's not a fish anymore.
All right. Anybody? All right, so I want to thank both of our runners once again, Walther the Fourth and Smight, for putting on an excellent show today. And I would like to thank our tracker, Jixon, for taking care of all of those wonderful icons you see on the screen there. And, of course, to my co-commentator, Firewood King. Couldn't have done it without you.
Dr. Bob, I've had a lot of fun. Thank you for joining me.
All right. And, so coming up today, we've got plenty more action across all the Speed Gaming channels and the Link to the Past Randomizer channels. I have been told that a Link to the Past Randomizer 5 channel has been created. So if you haven't followed that one, get ready for it, because there will be a match on that tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern.
I think 5 is going to be 7:30 p.m. Eastern.
7?
Yeah.
I know how to numbers.
Number, yeah. It's gonna. It's actually that's gonna be the Gazelle Chef versus TGH match. That's gonna be extremely hype.
Very nice. All right. So with all of that, I will say that if you enjoyed what you saw here today, the best way to help those involved out is to give them the follow here on Twitch. I'm sure everybody here would appreciate that. And with that, I will just say that I have been Dr. Bobtastic.
I've been Firewood King.
And we'll see you later.
Thanks, everybody.